We'll have recitations on page number 10. On page number 10, we'll say in Tibetan 2 times each verse, and afterward in English 1 time. In English on page number 11. Uh, I take refuge in the Guru. I take refuge in the Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. I take refuge in the Sangha. And now, until my enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. May all sentient beings enjoy sentient beings be free from suffering and causes. May all sentient beings be separated from your progress. May all sentient beings fight equanimity, feel bias, attachment, and this ground anointed with perfume, flow with flowers, encircled by the world. May all living beings enjoy the pure land. Ina Guru Anamena Yataya. Now we will chant the foundations prayer on page number 15, and we will chant in English and slowly. The foundations of all good qualities is the kind and venerable Guru. Correctly devoting to him is the root of the path. By clearly seeing his and applying great effort, please bless me to rely upon him with great respect. Understanding that the precious freedom we are continue chanting. Definite convictions. Please bless me always to be careful, to abandon even these slight negativities, and complete seeking the pleasure of samsara. Led by the pure thought, mindfulness and alertness and great conscience arise. The root of the teaching is keeping the body motion. Please bless me to accomplish this essential practice. Having seen all,
And the spiritual friends who practice it with all ours. Please bless me to testify to you all our experiences. In all my life, and separated from perfect gurus and enemies of dharma. By completing qualities of the sages and past, may I quickly attain the states of Avatar.
Tashi Delik, good morning. And also, I would like to thank to Professor Victor, who prepared this book that we're going to discuss the mind and mental factors. So, thank you, Professor. So this book, we we will be discuss more about this mind and mental factors, and you yourself you can read and study yourself, and also so today before we begin this book, I would like to talk kind of the general the knowledge about this book. Generally, in Buddhist philosophy, it mentioned that every phenomena are empty and selflessness. So these two, the knowledge which combine or the explain the whole teachings. One is the emptiness, and the second is the selflessness or the ownlessness. The selflessness that it has two the kinds, existence and the non-existence. When we say or think of the selflessness or selflessness, doesn't mean it's completely non-exist. Therefore, we categorize category two things, which is the existence and the non-existence of the selflessness. So one is the existent and one is the non-existence. Of course, the non-existent will be like the flower in the sky. So it is non-existence. There's no flower in the sky. And of course, there's a flower in the sky. You can throw a flower in the sky. But what it means is that there's no flower that appear or once could plant in the sky. So this is the one of the example. So this is one of the non-existence, and existence is there are two kinds of existence. The permanent and substance, or the permanence, permanence and the impermanence.
딱바들라 딱바도 들려양 다 남바 망부 요 디동다 소 천신도 정나 남과도 뜻이 남과 동바도 디동나바도 딱바레스 근저와 요 말스
So there are the many definitions or the explanations for the permanent, but one in general will be sky. So sky is always permanently there.
다 딱바들라 섬즈가 즈시와 담은데 시섬즈 장얼스
And for the impermanence, there are three categories. First is the form, second is consciousness, and the third is the non-compositional factor.
어떤 거라서 참아 아주 요리다 되자 아니 다 즈세든 아주 특별히 즈들라 능그즈 치즈그즈미데 요로 뭐 카토동 야블라 소바데 뭐 시고르시
And these three things, which imply the imply the impermanence, such as form, consciousness, and non-composition act factor. So this is all we have, and the first one is the forms or yeah form. So there are two kinds of form: inner and outer form. And 일단 가도 남기술로
시즈제 어떤 같은 거 시즈 일단은 종아라 소바데 뭐 요르시
So outer form will be shape, color, and the elements.
시와세 다 서리크 사실 당아도 용을 뜨고 소소도 들라 시와세 그러지
Sarichara. And the consciousness is the episode of the newly realizations, the episode of the new realizations or the newly arisings.
남는 시세데 땡이글라 땡이 딱바 잠고다 망 잠스그리스다
And the third, non-compositional, is the 닝이 강로이지래 라오라.
땡이 강 많이 변
Yeah.
땡이를 딱비 딱바 잠망 잠조다
The non-compositional is the none of the form and the consciousness, but merely the label or merely the name.
땡다 잔신로 정나 로다와센로 미땅 로아스 섬진세노 도 정말 담은데 쉬리
For example, non-compositional factor will be like time, date, week, month, year. The six classic being, human beings, and so forth. So those are the non-compositional
아무도
factors.
미세데 미서 망 도지데 가르즈나 미티 코롱라 미세데 잔신로 주장 될라데 미스 망다가로 미세 저떤 파종 오니 정니 로스 미세데 요마르코 미 yap던 카톨라스 바질레 질지당 같은 이거 미세데 정해 조 노지로 디 시와동 즈기가 주비용 될라더니 되는 정도로 줬다 그러지
For example, like persons, when we give the name of the persons, the based on the very the functions or the yeah its functions, and then we kind of label the persons and the name it, such as their their performance and so forth. And also because of the existence of the combinations of the consciousness and the body.
다시 아주 단다 다 값을 받비 장치들은 없이 시와로 시와텔라 참아당 참는지 그러니 시와지
시월라 테마나 테밀라. So this is kind of general introductions. I just want to give it out. And today, the main about this discussions is about the mind, or the awareness. And for the mind, there are two kinds of mind, or knowledge or awareness, two kinds of awareness. The valid and the non-valid cognitions.
다 chakang shiwa khurang karazir shiwa da sashang rikpa il khurang rangzhin pa sawa yinpa la pa shuk yirik par shiba zila sashang rikpa shiwa se khurang nga zo pina melong do zina melong nangla melong khurang rangzhin sawa yinpa ti nangzhin yin sawa shakin da nangzhin zina sem sayad melong nangzhin zira zina khurang rangzhin sawa yinpa la ti pa shuk yid khurang na shir tukung ka niwa zila sashang rikpa zo pina shiwa sayad nga zo shiwa sayad dili zagin zi chigor zi.
So usually we, whenever we recognize or giving the explanations of the awareness or the mind, it is the very correct characteristic of the awareness and the mind will be the lucidity and the awareness. For example, it's like a mirror. Like when we have a mirror, of course, it will create the first we have to have the clear or lucidity of the object of the mirror, where we can have that clear mirror, as well as objectively can appear in that mirror. So that's we call the mirror. Similarly, and where we can able to the arise the very objects. So that is the one of the definitions of the awareness or the mind.
나 참았어야 돼 가르쳐 소속이 받던 통도 이렇게 nemba rat to 참았어 sarta nie bajul 참았어.
And so the so there's a two kinds of the valid cognitions, and the valid will be like the mental episode that newly arise, and so this is the we call the tema, or the valid cognitions.
뭐 nemba 거 저도.
And so basically, it is the authentic or and the genuine.
다 무슨 될래 니적 또 참아 될래 니적 무슨 지 참아 또 집고 참아 가버니 시월.
And so there are two kinds of the valid the cognitions, and one is the direct perceptions, and second is the inferential perceptions.
어디저다 원순 참아 될래 기동 남이 망보다 원순 원순 이지 원순 남부 원순 저 망보 요리나 다 원순 세다 간다지 잡거든 변좀 지지게나 근데 홍보도 묵시다 어디 원순을 홍보 그럼 남과 홍보를 하다도 오 남과 홍보를 좀 남성 하고 도와줘 묵시 될라던데 섬진 동원된 도와달라 다 원순서 원순 통도라 뭐 원순 소소 미스 통의 소소 용어를 받달라 원순서 그랬어.
Um, and so there are different kinds of direct perceptions, such as the self the perceptions, as well as um, the uh, the consciousness perceptions, and so forth. But here, basically, direct perception will be, and uh, it is the perceptions of the uh, the seeing the object directly and clearly. For example, when we look at the blue colors, and when we look at blue color, we receive and able to grasp that kind of color clearly. So that is one of the definitions of the direct perceptions.
일단 시와 정말로 뭐그 담을 쉬어 나의 담을 쉬어 내 담을 쉬어 제 담을 쉬어 무슨 정말요 그냥 지금 럭시가 지금 좋아 용화 좀 줘. 칼 어떤 칼라사마 용화 좀이나 칼라 용화 좀 줘. 되게 좋아 용소마. 이 지만이 그런 티 강동도 그 좋아 가래 있는데 그런 하고 돌아. 당보 살도 또 왔더라 참아지. 수준 용화 줘 동서 용화 또 sem게 넣는 거 어때 말 모르겠네. 근데 애플러지나 도물 좀 앞에 사만 용도 앞에 좋아하고 말이. 저런 가능 좋아 용용 속들라 되면 또 통 지만 애버 통을 줬더라. 앞에 there's 인세 초가 된 거때 원심스 그래.
So they are from we could use the other the faculties or the senses such as eye, ear, tongue, and so forth. And for example, tongue, whenever we receive any informations by having any food such as beef, apple. Um, and when we had the apple at the very first time, and so that is the mental the episode of the newly or freshly arise in our mind, and that kind of feeling or the mind and the mind. And for example, apple. When we first had an apple and the taste of the apple, we understand that it is the sweet, and and later, while we still have a kind of that kind of feeling or generic kind of informations. So that is we call the direct perceptions.
다 지포 삼아서 임신 질렀더니 원심 삼아 그게 똑바닥 잡아. 남도 던지게 잡아 고 원심도 같은 것들 비슷한 거. 지포세 똑바닥 지인 던지기 인차례에서는 삼로질 때는 이 증이 거지.
도파.
똑바닥. 남도세 정도도 안 돼. 도지동도.
So the direct perceptions is the absence of the conceptual mind or conceptual thought or the thoughtfulness, because we receive directly from the objects and like this. And the second is inferential the perceptions or the consciousness will kind of with the we received informations by or with the conceptual thought or the thoughtfulness.
다 빈손 지지기나 사접길래 매 독세 매 요비 점점 가서 이 남고양라 도와셔는 거 도와시침 밤 롱도 야다 매 바르고 독세 때 또도 염증 강에서 도와들 때는 매요 하고 도와다 근데 염증 질라 때네 아니 소소 어떻게 독세 점바실라 또다 지박세고 지스 방파도 염증 질라 다 주시다.
So the usually we use this. We have inferential the perceptions through the kind of the idea or the reasoning. For example, if I give you example, when we see the smoke over the mountains, and we kind of have a perception that there's a fire because of the smoke.
호텔라 된다. 근데 배는 알아서 기치를 기근들 지어서 됐다 이거구나. 알아서 소소한 거 시고 말은 그때 파마치 강서치 그때 봐주도 이치치네. 어디 님아 지어서 됐나 진짜 때 좀 전달할 때는 마티님아 제가 창조 거지.
And another example will be like our date of birth. Of course, we don't know our date of birth, but it is inferential perceptions that we receive those informations from our parents.
뭐또 이제 벌써 뭐다 네. 또 참아도 잡을다. 난 참면서가 들라 참면들랑 가 그래서 참아 많이 받을라.
So these two direct perceptions and the inferential perceptions are the we call the valid cognitions. Uh, and then there's five the uh, uh, the five also all of them is called the seven types of awareness. The first two is the valid and following the fifths are the indecisive or the uh, uh, the non yeah indecisive the cognitions. Yeah.
그때라니 이슈서야 지고 이슈서야 돼 잡았잖네 어떤 데서 인차를 또 받았던 데서 인차를서 삼도 당하지 다인 인바 이용서 마인바 이용식으로 이나 소수 초보지야 될 이슈서 거지.
And the first one is the we call the subsequent cognitions, and subsequent cognitions.
이슈
Sorry, it is presumptions. Presumptions. It could be real or it could be unreal.
또 초보지야 그때 인차를 써야지.
Yeah. So this is just presumptions, merely presumptions and uncertain.
티즘 써야 돼. 있느나 맞느나 써야 다 논이 있어야 돼.
And second is the doubtful. Doubtful. So this is the kind of like two minds, which is again an indecisive mind, that has a two thoughts. It's kind of based on confusions, whether it is right or wrong.
좀 근데 어떤 낭라망이 왔어요. 낭라망이 왔어야 되는데 이제 땅지 배나 초롱 배 삼로 14보 지는 파 먹기가 따다워나 삼로 정말 뛰가 당도는 암족구다 고고요나 암족구다 고고도 요다 암족구다데나 다 또도 가르치고 정말 하고요 말이지 낭라망이 왔어. 낭기 왔다 망해 왔어.
And third is the inattentive perceptions. So inattentive perceptions is the you you receive the informations, but you are not being aware the about the informations, and it's being received, but you're not aware, and its kind of meaning and its uh, what kind of informations. It's just like a sound.
또 그것도 낭라망이 와라. 다 록시세드 돈 많이 받을 예물지 받을.
And fourth is the wrong knowledge or the distorted consciousness. So this will be have a kind of understanding, the understanding of the true as a not true.
이슈세 참았더니 어다 제시세드 아니 뭐마 또 선비 돈지 양질선나 셔 하고 요라다 고아도 마지막인데라 제시세 또선 동비 돈데 양을 점버시 받들라 제시세 배나 저 당보 앱 하고 돼 참아로 하고 뒤까지니 마다 에뽕아모 하고 차지요 참아 말 살 동바 말이나 때때 issues
issue.
어
Okay.
이슈 말이냐 가서 참아 참은
Geshe.
제시
Yeah. And fifth is the subsequent cognitions. So subsequent cognitions will be the second kind of informations. For example, as I mentioned earlier, that when we had an apple at the first time, will be the valid informations or the direct informations. But later, for a while, and when we have a second kind of the feeling toward the that apple, so that it will be the subsequent cognitions.
어들 다때 등하고도 정말 요대 그래서 다당하고 냠스 용지 등하고도 배추 당지 막 자락장장 됐어 나비노
So this is all the we call the seven types of awareness or the seven types of knowing, and this all this the awareness this we all have.
다들 결혼수 쇼파지나 드레싱 등분들 등분들 삼당데 어떻게나 하고 소나 단데 참말인데 제시 녹시다 소수다 주지고 그래서 이게 그냥 강바디나 장학들이 어디냐를 드세고 그래서 어디 전로나 다 제마 결혼 인지 소수 송지고 그래서 소수질라 특기요 맞아 질라 요르서
So the uh, this the seven types of knowing or the awareness. I think we all have it. All of us, we all have it. But we are not kind of recognize them. So it is very good that if we understand and recognize. So whenever we have any kinds of informations, we can understand. Oh, this is the direct perceptions. That is inferential perceptions, and that is the subsequent cognitions, presumptions, and so forth. And that is the doubtful, and that is the distorted consciousness. I think for example, usually when we in the room in the house, we receive all kinds of informations. But once we remember this all seven awareness, then we know that whatever awareness is arise, we know, oh, this is the direct perceptions, distorted knowledge, inattentive perceptions, and so on and so forth.
어떤 저다 소파가는 우리가 말로 먹시 파 니마도 나왔다 했던 아주 니마도 통고라 니마도 나와 통할 때 덴바레 말이지 소파니 거지 꼴찌 덴바레서 꼴찌 덴바 말이지
So, now we dive into more kind of detail, which involve the debate, and so there is a debate. You know, when we have the the perceptions or when we look at when we look to the moon and the sun, and are they real or not real? Some some said it is real, some said it's not real, and the depend on the what kind of receiving, like direct or not.
통요를 생각 세당 아주 통요를 이마다 나와 통는 것도 너무 좋고 그래서 시에고 통요 말 통하던 모임이 통요 말 세때 그 통하던 이마다 주주지 통요 이마다 왔더니 주주지 말 전부 들었어요. 도도도 나고 서로
Of course, when we being asked like, have you seen sun and moon? Of course, we'll say, yeah, I've seen a sun and moon, and because we all use it, and by having the sun and moon, and then second question, some debate like, is this the sun and moon that you saw? And but they said not. It is the sun and moon you saw is very small, but sun and moon is not that small.
전보였어.
They're they're huge.
같은 삼동아 됐지야. 당아도 곰대 잡았어. 이 곰대 라고 들었어.
Yeah. So think and let's meditate.
아주 다른 곰자에 대 기호 수소 남기 그다 아주 참사망 아주 샘다 하정 타니고 쳐서나 파쇼를 차비도 똑니었잖아. 안텔라네 되네 능은 지금 벌써. 근데 하정 거네 마가와 쳐서나 안텔라 되네 양 능은 공부지 양 능은 지금 벌써. 밑통 마가 저죠. 안 하정 쳐서나 밑 뭐가 많통아 있나다 무슨 뭐 강한데 통과로 든지 임진이라 되는 가지고 능이 온 거죠. 자동이라 되는 첩비도 종이 강성 때 같은 많통나 되는 거를 타니와도 많이 걸 세동 그 통이 뭐들 강성 때 같은 통나 아주 막가위 되는 거 됐다. 될라네 거면에 강성 때 그런 선능을 살았다. 하고 들어하고 들어와 하고 셰르비 쇼 강성 하고 유강성 때 선능을 맞을라 지네때 잠비 지치도 고음지 다딜라니 지지 항도 tel라들이 또 자금지 강성 tel라니 그런 하점 탄뉴 토나 마가와 강성 tel라 총티 연등 게 차선다 공주 코트인데 다 같은 자치는 제네나 코트인데 연등들이 요다 들이 같은 요사 저러다 뭐 어디 자니 봐 섬도다나 강성 tes라 탄일이 오는 수도 선비는 그 강도마 명정 야 거치 하정 센터니고 지금 접병 또 많던다 등는 것들 파트너 코트인데 주당당 한테 가고 요때 있는 코트인데 교요 때들이 요새 아다 만디비 차때 삼로 통해나 대점 그 셈는 그 초라 nom부터 매와천 초라 동용 강들 도동 얼마 되지 가서 그거 정말 초라 동용제나 근데 저런 오인일도 통통 그랬어요. 강성 때 약보이나 득자이나 강이나 오인일도 통통하는 데라 때네 딱 맞아. 공부냐면은 그때나 서로 동료라 때문에 양지공부나 어느 시험공부나 몸되고 그랬어요.
So before we meditate, I would like to give you the object we should meditate on, and so today I want you to find a person's and the maybe whom we love or whom we don't like either. And so idea is we have suffering and we have difficulties related with the persons we are involved with. For example, because of the attachments and desire, and if we don't see him or her, we have a suffering, we have problems, and but and the but when we have it more, we with them, then the more desire attachments will arise. And also second is the person we don't like, when we see them, when they are around us, then again we have a suffering, we have problems. And so because of the power of attachments, and we have a suffering if we don't see them. And again we have a suffering when they are with us because of arising more attachments. And similarly, the person we don't like, and when we see them, we have a suffering, and so forth. So the during the meditations, the I want you to find the persons, and and any persons you want to choose. For example, uh, if you're having a kind of a difficulty to arranging that person in your life, and you have often encountered that persons in your life, and what we should do. So during the meditations, we can fix it through the analytical meditations. For example, let's say I have a person that I don't like, which give me a suffering. I see them when I think of them, and you bring that person in your mind and practice the analytical meditations. You analyze, meaning not just look at the bad side of that person, but rather try to find the good side of that person's. So once you find any, like even tiny good side of that person, and keep meditating on that good side, so it will generate the closeness. And more you think toward the good side of that person's, and you become more close, and which kind of eliminate the sense of disliking and so forth. So this is the one thing. And if you want to work on the reducing the attachment and desire, which you also face the difficulties or the have a suffering whenever you see him or her, then you can bring that person that whom you love, and which generate a lot of attachments and desire. And then what you should do, like when you meditate that person's, you look at the little bit like ugliness of him, not ugliness, sorry, the faults of him or her. So when you kind of try to look at the faults of him or her, then it helps you to reduce the attachments and desire toward him or her. Um, so idea is whether you find the person you like or don't like. The idea is the us as an individual, we to come into the very the center, or the mind of equanimity, where we can able to see the reality. Usually we are being diluted or being mixed by the either attachments or aversions, which we fail to see the reality, whatever is exists in front of us. But idea is the again. The establishing the equanimity mind, and plus by having the equanimity mind, we easily generate the compassion, loving kindness. In a way, we can able to see reality, whatever exists in front of us.
진짜 자당 논이 또 원도 장소 같이나 샘도 장무 중 거고 봐서 같은 척배 원도 소나 미디 교용 소바 가부지니 파수 같은 파수 소바 동거다 세당 원도 소나 같은 파수 소바 지가 동거 같은 교용 장장 동 또 성공은 저 강서 때고 강서 때다 삼로 근데 강서 시기나 당부경 가위치나 강서 때 남반전 당지마 마가 다 차이나 삼로 당동지 만다와요 근데 강서 시기래서 그나 삼로 당당 거네 알아 로그로 했다 로드 냠보 치다나 청와 초라 동용 같은 소소 강서 샤와 강당 건저 내기 못 쓰는 거지
And again, if we fail, to practice the equanimity, compassion, and loving kindness, and then we always being dominated by this destructive emotions such as attachments and aversions. The problem is the when we have a strong or the being dominated by the attachments and desire, then whenever we see him or her, we always see them as a great one. Because we wouldn't able to see the faults of him or her, because we are being doomed by the attachments and aversions. Attachments, and similarly the aversions, when we our mind is being controlled by the aversions, and then we won't able to see the value or knowledge or the value of others, because we always see that their problems and their bad side and so forth. So the when we practice and reduce those, and uh, be trying to balancing our our very mind and the and the way of thinking. And for example, let's say same individuals, but we have a different kind of perspective or receiving informations. Let's say same persons. For like the for one occasions, I have a strong attachment toward that person's. Then I have a different kind of view upon that person's. But maybe other occasion I have no attachment aversion. I have no attachments, but I have aversions that I have that same individual. I have a different perspective or the view upon that person. It's the same individual, but occasionally we have a different kind of thought toward them due to the due to the disturbed by the attachments and aversions.
현실의 공통의 부식성 맞다바 제게 무슨 맞다바 미드지가 대량 경험에 하장 센터니의 가능성이 있는 같이 했던 지금 기로한테 그 센터 기로한테 이마치 그 다시로 된 연구를 해서 그래서 정말 맞다비랑 소리지 그냥 참참하게 다시가 도는데요 저와 지당서 보네요 년처럼 요 때잖아 직전에나 로트들다 다시 내가 저도 말이 맞다비랑 소리 맞대는 중 어떤 거를 시험스
So that's why the master Kongtang Rinpoche, Kongtang Temen Rinme, and he said the one of the why everything is impermanent because we cannot it cannot be certain or it cannot be relying because today we become an enemy because of uh, the 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 because of the incorrect the conversations or misunderstanding and so forth, we become an enemy. Maybe next day, other involved with others' actions and so forth, we might become a friends. And so see, it's all the time. It's change, and it is changing, and that's why it is impermanent and it cannot be reliant and not certain.
야, 당도 좀 되게 하시라. 가면 좀 와서 거.
Okay, let's meditate 15 minutes.
그럼 삼루 때 땅 같으면 우코랑 삼루.
If it's
농약도
what I mentioned earlier, if you cannot meditate on what I mentioned earlier, then it's okay. Just meditate on your breath. Just breathe in and breathe out and focus on your breath.
그것도 내우지 그거서 당무진데 나는 너무 자주 되겠어.
Important is your back should be straight, and once your back is straight, and then you will have a nice straight muscle as well as your wind will go up and down nicely and smoothly.
농삼동다 농 치료 같은 것도 봐. 같이 지통 소리 지르는 거 그래서 또 왜냐면 다 먹었다. 저는도 소리 지르는 거 어떤 양사라도 농사와도 저기도 막. 이 잠질 하고 되게 대성도 그랬어요.
So if you prefer the focus on your breath, and what I want you to do is take a long and deep breath, like inhale and exhale. Take a long and deep inhale and exhale, and the Torah de Ma di Chilembe.
어쨌든 지통 농 같은 거 샘는 거 농치로 그 소리 지르는 거 뭐 비닐로 거. 근데 나 아무
I don't know it's true. And they're saying that it's when we release the breath and it has to, expand 16 inches. 16 inches. 16 inches, and then change and then breathe in.
네. 단내는 저 처음에 범죄도 삼농동 산다면라고 그러죠. 남기 종범죄 밑에는 전반은 좀좀 그이나 다 그치뭐 맞지. 다 도로 지금 된 거지. 그것도.
It is recommended when you breathe, unless you have a problem, Otherwise, just breathe gently and silently.
옳지.
Any questions? Yeah. Questions or comments? No comments? Okay. We can also, see if you, during the meditation, did you find any thoughts that we discuss? Seven awareness. Yeah, in the future, when you think.
I meditated on, I think like all of us, who are lay people, we work in different environments, and I find myself wanting to meditate on someone with whom I was having difficulty with because of a incorrect belief that that person was not being supportive to other people, and it was making me a little angry, I think. And what I found through this process, which was so wonderful, is that in particular, the instruction to meditate on the things that you can find that you're grateful for with the other person. I found that very helpful because it seemed like my attention was very directed to one small part, and it was kind of clouding the bigger story. I think it was clouding the bigger story. And so I found this really helpful. And also the idea of trying to take a fresh look. So the subsequent perception, subsequent cognition, the opposite is like a fresh look at the situation. And ultimately, I think I came away with a sense that I was just really grateful that my colleagues were so patient with me. Because I was the one who was probably the one who needed to have a reset, actually. And so I was really grateful. And then it ended up being about patience, I think. And I was grateful for that, for the patience, actually.
공기 다디에다 다리 딱건 고랑다 딱건은 저기다 민망치 미시기다 니 그래서 미자 주요라 된주다 다리 공제도 사마니 공제도 사마니 펜토송스 카인시나니 수수 다수수 나 공제도 사마 개인이 소원한 신다 미치 수수 다 가사마가사지 코메로 송송소 베나다 남규다 마람 디 레가 치료지어라 내가 치료님도 빼면서 그는 디스 간이로 주도스 배신한테 때 그러고 미쳐다 다다 미쳐다 이제 루시 이내 개인이다 고메기 된다 된다 디직 공방도 디직 송수 딘빼면서 펜토송스 and 아니 대신에 저 딩원의 소원은 제시해야지도 제시디 간이 디 배셔나다 망치 노라 망치니 봐준 많이 말하니야 즉 tellatsa수다니 즉 간에 교포두고도 되는데 가지 문제 망조다 미개의 천년이 되게 간이 뭐고에서 디 콤디 펜토송스 투이시
그래. 직동 알아서 지촌이 나온다. 내고요자. 아주 맛이 벌다. 내고서 알아서 잠바도 내 대사점이 말하고 미치 쫄았대고 미치 쫄았대고서 미치 쫄는 그런 거 틀라고 미치 쫄았대고 따때 리가지 오서 나는 아주 정말 소송아요. 나서 소소를 톱당도 지금 링근도 소소 톱당도 지금 파쇼고 때 토용아도 아니 소소도 비던 마드바도 근데 좀 알아도 딱 강들어진 게 파손 좀용 좁아용도 아니면 선나다 탄 라운드도 요 대자 당본이네 아주 정말 삼노 당할 걸 뜻했다네
Yeah. So yeah, thank you for the comments, and also the yes, it is very important to kind of uh, contemplate on those mind and try to fix it, because you know as a the human being, of course we have to live in this society and human society. And when we have to live this human society, of course, especially we have to live the humans being who are close to us, and but the problem is that every one of us, we have a strong I, the sense of I, or sense of me or I or mine, and of course there are always the the sense of opportunities of the owning, and of the justice of the rightful for oneself, or the credit and also opportunity and so forth. And when it comes, so we always have the uh, the problems or the debate and about this. So when we do that, and it will create it will kind of uh, create the divisions, which create that kind of the person will remain far from us.
진짜다 당보 삼도 당보 당한테 에 가르치나 nga dewan do ba ko dewan do ba nga de ma ko de ma do ba chi pa tember lember tang bu de sam ko tang thoe na nga zo sam dewan do ba chi pare sam to ko kare si ni wa de la de ko sam no tang ma jing ni sam no chi pa ma yin ba o te pe na khala la te na nga ga khala ko mo ga nga zo sum to ko ra ta ni cha lo thmo yo so na shong chi le ka nga zo ta wa thmo yo na le ka chin tab de yo tawa 많던 바이나 tawa 많던 바데 찍찍라 ngilin chi thawai na ote khaya ma khokron samse tere chi yars ngang samse tere samse so so jili cha da de la ne chadang ma chi sine tawa khchi mo de ma chi chi la ne jili chi ne tawa 많던 바 yo de ngilin chi thawai na ani solo saba tong yo solo chakare to ina ani chi chon ne kari na yoda kang ne tab de ung set ko ras to chi ni wa de
Yeah. So this is kind of general information I just mentions and earlier, because since we are a human being, and or that we have to live with a human society, and by living that, and we will face all kinds of challenge in our life, and because of every one of us, we have a strong sense of I and mine and me and so forth. So what is really helpful, I think, two things is very important. First of all, that we have to recognize and have a realizations that we all share the same wish and desire, that is to want to be happy and doesn't want to suffering. And for example, by cautioning yourself that, do I want happiness? Do I want suffering? Of course, we'll say, yes, I want happiness. I don't want suffering. And then you ask same questions like, do other have the same wish like I do? Of course, most of we all want happiness, and we doesn't want suffering. So in that way, we have a great realization, the firm realization that, yeah, we as a human being, we all share the same goal or same wish, common wish, which is the to want to be happy and overcome suffering. In that way, we all are same. And the second thing, we have to understand that even though we share the same wish, that to want to be happy, it doesn't want to suffering, but every one of us, we have a different way to achieving happiness and overcoming suffering, due to their understanding, their interest, their knowledge, and background, and then so on and so forth. Everyone is different, and that's why it creates the problems. He or she viewpoint doesn't mean it will fit into my life. My viewpoint, my interest doesn't mean it will fit into their life. It's like a food. It's like a dish. I like this doesn't mean you like it. You like doesn't mean I like it. But sometimes we both mutually like the same food. That's good, you know. Sometimes we both have a same viewpoint, same interest. Then there's no problem, less problem. But usually we have disagreements. But when it happens, then not just kind of act out of aversions and the hatred and so forth, but rather just be aware and acknowledge. Just be aware and acknowledge, and then with the mind of great wisdom, intellectual mind, and with the equanimity mind, we try to find out the solutions and using our logic and reasoning to find out the solutions. That way, everything is possible. Everything is fixable, and if we do that, and that way we can easily solve the problems and any difficulties. Questions? If you don't have a questions, I will share the story.
스토리 원에 있는 좀만에 맞으라 나는 저번에 장주인이라 다주인스.
Uh, yeah, can you send questions here because I cannot read text because my mobile is being uh, using live video. If you text here so I can see your message.
오케이. 특정만이 자선 얘기 좀 그래. 자선 얘기 좀 그래. 다 군인 다와만 단지 특파잖아. 아니 다 보면 되게 버티 총 같은 데모 그렇죠. 버티기 다 뭐런 것들라 이치로지나 땅안 난 로고 생각 일단 되게 다와만 단지 같은 특파잖아. 좀 로고 다 컨트롤 받고. 보면 되게 또 선당이 곧 대체와드가 저도 저때 그 파로리 저때 뭐 파지고 싶었으니 당부 특파지 배 그 차오데 깔레깔레 돌려서 스타트 로송당 가고 온다냐나 딱거든요. 다 고게 싫어요. 다시는 어떤 이제 다 거니 좀 다른 거 선에 때네 버때 다 로로 진짜 버때 다 nga shira rogo na nga yong thak ban nga pe kang ban lag des me pomo de mi chukor ro se ai kora ni kors ni da sha de cham chasa pensun jina dodo te 당부 조바 춘춘 시절 조바 총총 때 설레 배 니가 니 샬로 공로는 가니 다 지지라 배 답수지기 지기 체리 정도 가가치가 다 샘땅에 지지라 가와 세와 요자 고요 지지라 때 고요자다 타마타마데 답 키워를 지대 양겠는데 한번 찾으면 좀 때문에 정도 골지당으로 지나 가서 이 저쪽은 아니 땅 던지지 그래도 스팅한테 서로 활동 소지라 그동안 구조 담모 소유나 당당 원인다 소유지성
So I think maybe it may be skillful means or maybe may not. It is kind of like the commons the commons the actions or the drama of the society, which I saw, and I thought this very interesting. So it's about the couple, the family, wife and husbands, and so they had the very kind of heated kind of debate or arguments, and then later husband said, "Now you leave the house. Go, leave the house."
보면도 말아 버텔 거
부모님 불교다래.
버텔
Okay, sorry. The wife said, wife said like to the husband, like you leave the house and go. And then husband said like, okay, I will leave the house. And then the husband did.
이 탁주니가 공부 건지고 이 탁주
So husband left. So this is this all happened because of anger. This all there, both of them being controlled by anger. And the wife said, you leave this house. And husband said, yeah, I will leave. And husband left. And and after once the husband was walking away from the house, and then wife due to the love, and she couldn't resist, and she just walked after the husband, and says, the how come you leave me alone? I'm scared in the dark. I'm scared in the dark. And then let her say, no, I can go back on my house because I have pain in my leg. And then husband said, okay, I will carry you back, and then carry her back at home. And then after the arguments and different kinds of method, and plus love, and they just mild, and then okay, and then they remain like normal. So this is all happen, small kind of problems, and later it's become so heated problem, and which they have that kind of uh, the fight. And but later, because both of them easily able to fix and arrange these whole problems. So I think this is the kind of common the problems of society, and very interesting.
공주가 탁주지나 공주가 탁주지네 배 영어로 통통 말이지.
Mhm.
텔레 때문에 세력 배주 당 도와이나 그런 당시 공주 같은 탁주지에 날지만 어때 제가 비고 뭐 샘동도 직접 보고 요자 어디 다 되게 탁고지.
So this story is like shows that when we determine any things, the based on the having anger and and hatred, and it will be full decisions. And later we suffer from that anger and the hatred, and then we kind of feel regret and guilty and so forth. So that's always important. That's not make any decisions when we are controlled by those poisons mind, such as anger and hatred, and try to the calm, and later we can determine, once we able to use the wisdom, great intellectual mind.
근데 너 조비 냠는 지긴지기나 콜라 아니 같이 있는 요다종 근데 보고 요르지. 그때라 먹이네. 내가 그냥 지금 소바고 거르지.
But if anyone who want to practice tolerance, then we need a problem. And when we face the problem, so we can increase our or practice the tolerance.
소바세 돈데 들어와. 가족들은 요다즈 강은 직전에 강은 될라 노는지 더 받으러 소바세 그러.
So Tibetan words we use the soba, meaning English tolerance, patience, and there's other words used. Pa meaning means whenever we face any kinds of difficulties and problems, we endure that problems, or the and able to confront them with the full of tolerance and patience. So that's the definitions of the soba, or the tolerance.
그래서 다 조지시면 오네. 다 네. 사탕 탐지 고이 깔아는 탐지지 고이는 사탕 탐지 용당 총용세 때 배주 전부를 소바가 소비금 동소바때 한국에 전부를
So that's why the one of the great quote by the master Shantideva, and said that um, the if we try to the defeat, or the solve the problems of the others, it might be difficult. It will be like for example, it give you an example. Instead of just defeating others, or fixing others, why not you just reduce your, or tame your mind, tame your anger, And for give an example, like if you walk on the mountain that is full of thorn, and how come you're gonna cut all the thorn? It might be impossible. Clearing or the cutting all the thorns on the mountain. But if you wear the shoes of patience, shoes of tolerance, then you don't have to cut all the thorns. You can easily walk on the mountain. So what it means here is 돈다 디 칼라오스나다
다 한국 거나 감발로 손주자는 조파 공부에나 소소 강을 때 파송된 용다 가리거나 또 같은 거서 그래.
So the meaning is likewise we wear the leather shoes. We can walk on at the mountain. There's a full of thorn. Similarly, without any problem. Similarly, if we have protections of the patience or tolerance, then no matter what kind of problems are the present or exist in a present, then it won't disturb our mind.
야, 아니 참아 근데 거기서 각종 프로젝트 그나 누가 참아 거나 도는 연구나 모bil 나 같이 담네 다트네 연구 있어요.
Okay, so next we will continue and discuss these mental factors. And if you are interested, we don't have much copy, and Professor Victor prepared these all copies. And but if you're interested, you can take a pictures, and maybe you can get, and maybe the professor or someone can send this PDF, and you can have it in your mobile device.
야, 하나
Thank you, Geshe. Thank you, Tempa. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to pass around the begging bowl. And if you would like to make a donation to the monks of the monastery, it's greatly appreciated. And you can do this by calling 812-336-6807 or by emailing the center at tmbcc.kcl@gmail.com. For those of you here, I'll pass this around, and if you can make a donation, like I said, it's greatly appreciated. And you can also just say a prayer or a mantra in the bowl. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Dedications on page number 80, Lamrim prayers. yo ra zhen zhu ji bo ren chen cho de ma cha cha ya bar zhe wei chou niang zhe shen bo ye ra chou ba yi pan de dar de sa war zhe mar chou se zhe ya wei me chou tian lian la zhou shan zhou lang jie ren de jiang tan duo nan jie ye la ba den shang ya wei zai ba rang ge zhong zhi ji lang zang zhe bin ten jian zhe jian ga jian se shi me na me guan cai rou gang de jiao wei ma ba yi nam da zhe wer ma zhi ji gang zi de ba qiu lai qiu qiu su xian zhe la zong ba li ye zi de nan jie da de zhou qi zha xie yang zong xiong gen qiang zhu jie bo de za wei la ma ren bo jie da so nian ge ba me ten xiong la gan zhen qian bo guo nian jie song de ge song de jie mo zhe zan de song chang zhou sen zhou ren bo jie ma jie ma na jie zhi jie jie wa nian ba me bar yang gong ne gong de pe wer xiu kan re ra wei gur wei shen bang de pen dan de wa ma le yang se wa ten zhen yang zuo yin sha de se de wa de ten zhe yang ba ma wo jie de qian ba gu de sang bo de yang de kun jie jie zuo tang luo yang ye wa de da tang jie rang de song sha bie ya wa tang jie jie mo wa gang la qiu de ma ba de da xian ye